The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Hour number 2 of a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, SiriusXM Channel 158. Gill Alexander. Radio's Gill Alexander. Television's Kelley Bydlon.
That's right.
To my left, to your right. Right
What's
there
up,
on your
YouTube
screen. Deshaun Watson walking back his comments from yesterday. We were all over him yesterday for saying it was disrespectful by the fans to boo him the other day. Someone got to him.
Sure.
Someone said, hey, Deshaun, maybe reconsider.
That's one of those things, though. Like, it's what is it? Genie's out of the bottle. Like, you said what you said.
Toothpaste is out of the tube.
Toothpaste is out of the tube. You said what you said. You can't go there to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Like, no. You meant every word that you said.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong in totality about what you said. You just should not have said that.
Oh, before we get to Drew, real quick, because Drew Dinsick is standing by. One thing. Over the years here, I always say best listeners in the game. I want to say this before I forget.
Mm-hmm.
Best listeners in the game. And over the years, folks have been like, so kind of like give gifts.
Yeah.
It's like the most, we don't expect gifts, but like, I guess sometimes they win bets that we suggest. They get really happy. And over the years, I've got like Iga Swiatek tennis cards and Barry Bonds baseball cards. It's just the nicest things in the world. Yesterday, I got one of the greatest gifts ever. Donnie Miller, who listens to this show. Donnie Miller, I don't remember the detail of what he was like at a Cleveland Guardians thing or something. He wasn't really familiar. Anyway, his buddy tells him, oh, yeah, that mentions Hunter Gaddis. He's like, oh, yeah, that's Hunter Gaddis over there. No. He goes, wait, did you say Hunter Gaddis? And Donnie remembers our worst beat of all time. The date was April 30th, 2024. Not like I don't remember that. We were 1 out away from cashing 65-1 on the Cleveland Guardians, our first ever monthly bet, the first March, April of 2024. And Hunter Gaddis gave up a 1-out ding-dong to Victor Caratini of the Houston Astros, crushing our bet.
Wow.
And so apparently...
I do not remember these details.
Apparently they went... Oh, trust me, I do.
This is great.
They went over and they told Hunter Gaddis this story, and Hunter Gaddis, kind enough to sign this baseball, which Donnie Miller brought over to us. Hunter Gaddis, number 33, sorry, Gill.
It says sorry at the bottom. I couldn't read that at first. That's great.
That's awesome. So, Donnie Miller, thank you so much. That was it's both hysterical and I want to cry at the same time. So, thank you. That's awesome.
Good for you, Hunter Gaddis, with the attitude a lot of athletes have these days. That's awesome.
That's right. Thank you, Hunter Gaddis. I still don't forgive you, but this goes a long way. Drew Dinsick joins us now, courtesy of Progressive Guest Line. He is the co-host of not one, but two podcasts, The Deep Dive with Andy Molitor, and, of course, NBC Sports Bet the Edge, which he does with Jay Croucher. You can follow him on Twitter at whale_capper. And hopefully, not only this appearance today, but hopefully we can get in a U.S. Open pod when you're here in Vegas this Friday. When are you coming to Vegas, man? Thursday?
Yeah, I'll be out there Thursday morning. Yeah, flying Thursday morning. And what a great story on the Hunter Gaddis baseball. You can put a dollar amount on that future. You can put a dollar amount on that 65-1 that was not realized. You cannot put a price on that baseball.
You cannot. Well said. Priceless. This is what I got out of this, a baseball from Hunter Gaddis.
Hey, we've been doing this long enough. Bad beat stories they're valuable, man.
They usually don't come with a signed baseball. Yeah,
they sure don't. That was great.
Yeah.
Good on it.
I'll let you know the next time I run into a tennis hardo out in Vegas when we're out there for contest sign up that doesn't bring up Ons Jabeur 33-1, 40-1 whatever the price was. Like, there's bad beats that will live in infamy among our people.
That's our people. That's correct. We have a question. I read this question earlier, but I'll throw it to you because he wants you to chime in on it as well. And it's Shrek McPhee who says, what would Carlos Alcaraz's number be for the U.S. Open if he had played in Cincy? And what will the number be after round 2 if he looks like himself?
If he had played in Cincy, he'd probably be more like plus 125. We're assuming that like he played in Cincy and didn't embarrass himself.
That's correct.
I have mixed feelings about what I saw in the practice round that he played against not a pushover by any stretch of the imagination. Daniel Merida, I forget his full Spanish name.
Aguilar. Yes.
Merida Aguilar.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a pushover. Like, that guy can play. And he's actually had a pretty good hardcourt season so far, for whatever it's worth. But if that's the quality we're going to get from Alcaraz, then I think 185 is just right. If he comes out and he looks like the Alcaraz we saw at the start of last year's U.S. Open, who was very dangerous, then I would say that he's going to shorten to probably right around Pick'em. The deal with Alcaraz is he sustained a wrist injury that word with tennis players strikes fear in the heart of many of us who have been doing this for a long time. Wrist injury derailed one of my favorite ever players to watch and bet on, Juan Martín del Potro. Derailed Dominic Thiem. And in general, when you pair it with what makes Alcaraz a special tennis player, is very, very scary. Alcaraz's forehand and really just his ability, his shot making ability, in large part is fueled by his ability to generate topspin, which comes from wrist action. And he didn't tear a ligament in his wrist. He didn't need surgery. He didn't go under a knife. This was apparently like a wrist sheath was inflamed and just causing him discomfort. I thought the clips we saw of him, like at the World Cup, and just doing promotional stuff throughout the summer, it looked to me like he lost a lot of muscle mass, just because he wasn't working out to the degree that he would be normally during in play tennis season. I haven't seen distinct evidence that he's kind of regained that mass, and in the interim month he's been ramping up for this tournament. So I think he is likely a pass at these type of prices, and I think that opens the door for long shot shopping in the absence of Jannik Sinner, who we could spend a little bit of time talking about, I suppose. This is I'm wearing a loss already before we haven't even gotten to the draw yet. So some of this is sour grapes. I'll just admit it. This was such a soft, withdrawal from this tournament.
Sure was. Yeah.
I find it like shaping my long-term opinion of him in a way that I wasn't expecting.
Meaning the fragility. Just generally,
not just the fragility, or just the idea that he would have basically doctors and physios all kind of come back to him with, everything's fine. There's nothing structurally going on. You're fine. And then him electing, and just not feeling right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was
to me, that's really, really surprising. And the idea that he's going to go through this season where Alcaraz missed maybe 2.5, if you want to count him as a half participant in this U.S. Open. He missed 2.5 slams, and you only get Wimbledon out of it. It's surprising. It's confusing. It feels very, very soft, honestly. And I don't know that I don't know that I'm going to feel any better about this if it turns out that this decision ultimately provides him with a better and a healthier 2027 campaign. But to me, this feels like he doesn't want to deal with the heat. He doesn't want to travel to the US. He doesn't want to, for whatever reason, really put himself in harm's way. And I just don't understand that mentality is so foreign in the shadow of the Federer, Nadal, Djokovic era we've just been through. It's tough for me to really rationalize.
It's such a great call at the end there, because if anybody has seen the Nadal docuseries on Netflix, what that dude went through in his career injury wise, and then you see these guys just casually sort of beg out of these tournaments. Pretty unbelievable.
Nadal dug himself out of an 0-2 hole against Medvedev in the Australian Open final with a tear in his abdomen wall.
It's just incredible.
Djokovic, the physical stuff that these guys have put themselves through to get to where they've gotten in terms of accumulated championships is amazing. And Sinner bowing out because he's not feeling up to it. it's leaving a very distasteful vibe for me.
Did you already make a bet on him? Is that why the bitterness is ratcheted up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what I was getting.
I thought I wasn't fully staked. I was waiting for the Alcaraz yes, because I figured that was going to draw Sinner down into the sub 50s, but I had standing orders available to try to scoop it at prediction markets, and I caught the falling knife of someone with the inside information of Sinner was going to pull out. So that day that it flashed from 60% to 25% or whatever it was, I ended up with a bag of Sinner, and I was like, oh well, this doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
so
who's the bet now then, in your opinion?
I think I'm going to ride with Felix Auger-Aliassime.
Oh, wow.
30 to 1. I think that's a fun one. I could make a case for many of these men who are in the 10 to 1 and longer range. Obviously, I've had a ton of success betting Rafael Hodar and Archer Fils over the balance of 2026. So I have soft spots for both of them, but they're ranked right now where they're going to need pretty favorable draws, I think. I'm cool on Medvedev after last week's disaster. I'm cool on Tommy Paul and Francis Tiafoe as far as American runners. I'm a little cool on Taylor Fritz and Ben Shelton at price, but this is going to be a very, very, very strange men's slam. I think Zverev and Alcaraz are both passes at price. I think Djokovic is sadly a pass at price, although I really, really wanted to have like a strong, this is it, number 25, Djokovic is going to do this kind of opinion heading into this tournament. It's not manifesting on court performance just yet, so I think it's going to have to be pass on him. But FAA at a bomb price, I think is going to be my red.
FAA 30 to 1. Felix Auger-Aliassime has gotten to 2 slam semis, never to a slam final, both at the U.S. Open, including last year. I remember betting on him successfully a few times on the way to the semis last year. Football with Drew next on A Numbers Game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. You're here because you want an edge. That's what separates listeners from winners. But let's be real, mindset alone doesn't get bets home. Pros win because they've got the tools, the data, and the discipline. And now so can you. VSiN Pro gives you access to the same real-time insights the sharps use. No secrets, no fluff, just actionable info that moves markets. Tap the link and see why serious bettors are turning knowledge into profit with VSiN Pro.
A Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
College football season almost here, and betting it blind is a losing strategy. Losing. Get the VSiN College Football Betting Guide. Free with VSiN Pro. It has previews of all 138 FBS teams. We counted them. Our preseason top 50 power ratings, proven betting systems, best bets from VSiN's sharpest mind. That's not all. VSiN Pro also gets you the NFL betting guide, the Fantasy Life Fantasy Football Guide, daily best bets, real-time betting splits, AI-powered prop projections, and 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app. Try it today for just $9.99 or lock in a full year and save 50% with a VSiN Pro annual subscription. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. We get tweets, beating the book, Nemesis Enforcer. I thought Alcaraz's injury was to his TFCC. You know what that stands for, Kelley?
No.
The triangular fibrocartilage complex.
Well, that's what I said earlier in the show.
It's a tear or strain of the cartilage and ligaments on the pinky side of the wrist that stabilizes and cushions the joint. Nemesis Enforcer goes on to say TFCC ruined Kyrgios and Del Potro. The only player I remember to recover fully, he says, is Joker, but his was on his left hand. Oh, not his dominant. Not the one he's holding the racket in, except on the backhand.
Isn't that what Drew just said?
Yeah, similar.
I mean, not as technical.
No, I don't believe he said fibrocartilage.
And he, should be better than that.
Right.
Scientist.
By the way, I did say fibrocartilage. This is from my Real Knicks. Will you ask Drew if there's only one tiny fish in that large tank behind him? It's disturbing me. LOL.
Don't get me started. I can't do this again.
Well, Drew, I think that's the lead-in question. Is that a one tiny fish in your big tank behind you, Drew? Oh, we lost Drew.
Can't really see him.
Oh, yeah. Say again, Drew. We didn't have your mic on. Say again.
There's a tiny school back there. You can see a couple of them.
I see at least two. Yeah, I see at least two.
They're tetra. Yeah, they like to hide. They hide behind the rocks. They don't like the bright lights.
I'm old enough to remember when there was a Nadal and Djokovic and Federer and
I had a whole tank of 6 cichlids, but I made the rookie mistake of not putting a lid on the tank.
Oh my God!
And they would chase each other around the tank and jump out, and it was a sad situation of counting them every day and being like, "What the hell?" And then finding one on the floor.
Didn't you come back from a vacation or something to that horror?
Yeah. It wasn't great. I got to replace the tank and just get one I'm going to get a little bit bigger one. It's going to have a lid, and I'm going to go for another round of cichlids, maybe get an Oscar. So stay tuned.
Did the wife had to tell you a story like that she took the fish to the doctor? Did she have to tell you to let you down easy? Did she go with that? No. So
she was more upset about it than I was, honestly.
Well, I wish you better luck here moving forward. We all missed those colorful fish before. Okay, to football. How many have we done? All 32 teams? You and Andy on the Deep Dive podcast?
We got like 4 left, 5 left, something like that.
Wow, slackers.
We're getting there.
I'm through like 17 or 18. Yeah.
We did all the good ones. We're doing the AFC South this week, and then we've saved the NFC South mercifully for last.
Left for last. Okay. What is I've asked these questions in so many different ways, but at this point, what's the most outlying Drew Dinsick take where you feel like you're just way off, like the market is not seeing it as you are? Or maybe the opposite of that, which is you're just not getting what other people are seeing in X, Y, or Z.
Most of my strong disagreements with market are more unit based than they are overall team based. Here's a good example: is I'm not far off market with the Cincinnati Bengals price, but I'm far off market with my expectation of that defense compared to the market. I have concerns about the offense, particularly the offensive line. And so there's a little bit of well, what do you do with that? Well, if the offense is overrated and the defense is underrated, then pretty obviously week 1 shouldn't be a 51.5 point total against the Bucs. So I'm taking most of my opinion at this point into week 1 totals, trying to get down, and the highlighting specifically teams where I feel like the defense is ahead of the offense, where they're playing each other, like Bengals Bucs, I think is the strategy. The team that I'm probably surprised, I guess the most surprised that the market hasn't elevated, and this is a 2-part surprise. It seems to me like there's been an obvious break to the good for the Ravens defense in getting Matabuke back. And people mentioned it a couple of times in passing, oh, cool. But the reality is that's a bit of a game changer for giving them an actual pass rush this year, in addition to the Hendrickson acquisition. So to me, it's okay, well, the personnel pretty clearly were elevated on the defense. I think the expectation of Jesse Minter, running a top 5 defense with the personnel that he had in LA, and now giving him an even better set of ingredients to cook with, including Kyle Hamilton. This to me is stewing to be a pretty special unit, this Ravens defense. And I look at here's a good example, the last undefeated team market, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, the Chiefs and the Rams somehow, for some reason, are at the top of this board. Well, I have the most likely team to go 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 7-0 for me is the Baltimore Ravens. Wow. And so there's a pretty obvious, the sequencing for them, with getting the Colts and Daniel Jones week 1. Instead of playing him later in the season when he's more up to snuff, getting the Saints when they for sure will not have Jordan Tyson week 2. Only a little bit of concern playing the Dallas Cowboys in Rio week 3. And then you get Tennessee, Atlanta, Cleveland, bang, bang, bang. If you can get through that Dallas game, I'm pretty sure that this is your last undefeated team. And they're in the 750, 800 range. If you shop around, actually, I saw a 9-1 at one point. So I kind of see a pretty clear and obvious, market reaction here, where if we are through 6 weeks of the season and the Ravens are your last undefeated and they're 6-0 and their defense is playing at a top 5 level, and the market is not going to be treating this as a good team, they're going to vault them to, the top of the AFC, I think, pretty aggressively. That next stretch of games, Bengals, Bills, Jaguars, Chargers, is going to obviously determine a lot. But I think in terms of like, if you're going to try to time market entry and you want to have exposure to teams with bigger, higher upside, I think you kind of have to take the Ravens preseason, expecting that price is going to come in as they beat up on a couple of tomato cans and, in the early going there. So that's one kind of surprise that I'm a little bit, I guess actually I'm a little confused that there is as many people that are willing to stick their neck out on the Texans and no one really kind of going to war with the Ravens as like their team in the AFC, because the AFC is pretty flat at the top. It's perceived as pretty wide open. And for, I guess just because of the raw personnel on the Texans defense, people are gravitating in that direction. Like that's going to be, if you can just get, this is the next Seahawks kind of idea, but I don't know. DeMeco Ryans not my guy as far as in-game decision making. CJ Stroud not my guy as far as playoff clutch performing, and I'm definitely not as intrigued by the offensive ceiling for a team like the Texans as I am for a team like the Ravens. If you get a healthy 17 games out of Lamar Jackson, so to me that's sort of the one thing that I'm a little bit scratching my head around, and maybe we're not there yet, but the Ravens seem to be taking the preseason very seriously. They're obviously kind of the defense and the joint practice reports from Minnesota I thought was fascinating. It sounded like this unit is already got the defensive kind of scheme that Minter wants to run down cold, and they're doing it at a high level, and we haven't even got to week 1 yet. So hoping that unit stays healthy and that can fuel this Ravens team to have a high floor. And then if and when the offense under Declan Doyle and you get some young contributions from Jacoby Lane and some of the youth there could help kind of find a high ceiling for this offense to where the Ravens are really surprising to the good. So that's the one that scratched my head.
What an outstanding, thorough answer to a very open-ended question. Because you're right, the Houston Texans, if we were just to do a snap answer of what's been the most consensus bullish opinion on any team, it's got to be the Texans this offseason. Real quick, we have 60 seconds. I'll try to, if you can squeeze these. Anything week 3 preseason, and then from the guy who was like all over alt season win totals, is there one sort of betting category you're looking toward more than anything this year?
I found that the kind of the real juice in the alt win totals is kind of dried up. So I'm doing more of the other exotic stuff that's out there, like last undefeated, most wins, most points scored, right? Like there, you can get a little bit higher upside score in those now. But it's the same kind of concept. So, most points scored. I think the Buffalo Bills and the Patriots are the two teams that pretty obviously stand out to me. And in general, I didn't play any week 3 preseason, but I got a good amount of week 1 locked in.
Week 1 NFL? Give us one. Give us one right now.
I mentioned Bucks Bengals under 51.5. Eagles Commanders under 48.
Aha. Drew Dinsick, everybody. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it.
All right, best luck, guys.
Coming back on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The sharp plays in full effect mode. Unmatched transparency with records updated. Daily AI betting analysis, real-time global betting info, alerts directly from the pros. Scan the QR code for more on your screen, bottom left right there, sharpplays.com. We get tweets, beating the book, falling behind, Kelley.
Get tweets.
Dr. Van Nostrad. For so long, it sounded like the Kareem don't block it. Rocking the Kazon. Rocking the Kazon. Those aren't the words. Triv. Hey, this is our Triv. What up, Triv?
What up, Triv?
He said, Circa Survive is one of my favorite bands. Emo rock at its best that features Anthony Green, the frontman from the band Sousin. Don't ask how I know this. LOL.
Okay.
What up, Triv? Matthew Mayberry. So pumped for the 2-week match play tournament to decide the tour championship. Needed to be done. Also love the group play and the singles at 2 different venues. Great job, PGA. Looking forward to these changes for next year. Maybe college football should get Roll-App involved. Roll-App being The PGA commish?
Yeah, the new.
I went to school with the roll-up. I think they got to be related.
Maybe, who knows? Ex-NFL number 2, Brian Rollap, making big changes.
Mine was a Todd Rollap. 3 Jacques H, 3131. Gill, how many Circus Survivor entries will be on the Jags week 1? What if Deshaun leads the Browns to a huge road victory? What a happy... I see what you did here. He said, what a happy ending that would be for him. Get it?
Got it.
There's
going to be a lot on
that.
The Jags.
That would be, can I say it for the first time this year? That would be carnage. That's my football resolution this year. Try to use that word less.
I am with you. Let's hold each other accountable on that.
Because I feel like I'm responsible for its proliferation to a degree.
Yeah, right. No, yeah we are. We're part of the problem. That's for sure.
Part of the problem.
Okay, Jaguars 7.5-point favorites. Lions 7-point favorites with the Saints coming to town. The Chargers are your biggest week 1 favorite, 10.5 with the Cardinals coming to town.
Chargers are a future value select also, right? Because after the first 2 weeks, their schedule gets really hard.
Yeah, I will be using the Chargers in weeks 1 and 2.
Or your multiple entries.
Yes, with different entries.
Bob L. at MC Bob 1993 says, don't want to beat a dead horse, but he lets us know that Taco John's did in fact register the trademark Taco Tuesday in 1989. Well, then, so what was LeBron doing? Did you not have a lawyer look this up?
Well, why, or aren't they suing everybody then? It's not just LeBron. That's what was the point of us bringing it up.
Yeah, but
everybody has a Taco Tuesday.
Anybody who considers filing a trademark should do the research to find out if the trademark has already been filed.
Right, which it had
when
not
did they
been,
do it?
Which had not been. I believe I read in that article.
1989, another summer. Sound of the funky drummer. This is from Skit. Hey, Gil, when's the U.S. Open pod coming out, and where can we listen? Got any to make quarterfinals bets you're eyeing? Well, those aren't out yet, Skit. Here's the deal, and this is always the tricky part about doing the tennis pods, is that we try, not always successfully, but in recent years, almost always successfully, we try to put the pod out after the draw is announced. The draw is going to be announced Thursday afternoon, Thursday midday. So we're going to do the podcast Friday morning post-draw, hoping that by that time, these books will have put out the quarter odds, meaning to win their respective quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4, both men's and women's. That's the sort of balancing act you do with the tennis podcast. So we hope that all times out okay. Bet your boots off. I keep hearing the MLB commentators say that Pete Crow Armstrong is the best defender in Major League Baseball. He's great, but he doesn't even play shortstop. Bobby Witt Jr. is absolutely incredible, the best defender in baseball, in my opinion. I don't think you're wrong there. Bet your boots off, and I think the numbers back that up. Nemesis Enforcer also adds, fun fact, as a former Cowboys fanatic, they've never beaten the Ravens. How about that? Why are you a former Cowboys fanatic? You got off the...
I'm a former.
The evil?
I'm a recovering Cowboys fan, that's for sure.
GV, New Jersey, New York. Does it count as an old school Columbo bet if Gill asked for it on the way into the commercial break? Because that's what happened with Drew, end of segment. Oh, that was the old Jason Weingarten thing. Jason Weingarten, right at the end of his segments, he would prattle on about I'm not sure what for 10 minutes.
He would tell us he didn't have anything.
And then literally in the last 25 seconds, like Columbo would, one more question. Jason would throw out a great bet, and it would happen. Yeah, so Drew had the 2 week 1 bets on the way out there. That was a great breakdown on the Ravens vis-a-vis the Texans, and last team to go. How do you phrase it? Last team to go undefeated?
Right, last undefeated team.
There you go. We hit on the last winless, if you recall, a few years back when we were at the D with Carolina at 15-1.
Hell yeah.
Merrill.
We'll dig into both those.
Oh, and cashing tickets is what it's all about. Says, please let's update picture for YouTube, boys. Kelley's new look needs a new picture. You guys best on VSiN. Thank you.
Dude.
Kelley needs a new picture. He does.
Wait, were you here? I heard a story yesterday. About an attempt to actually fix this.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, you don't know the story.
No.
So Q, who shoots all this stuff, apparently was going to come in last week, or did come in to shoot things to update some of our opens and stuff, and was very upset when he found out I wasn't here.
Oh,
I don't know if that means he didn't come or not. Rob was telling me the story yesterday.
Q was in the studio.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's what he was shooting for.
Oh.
To update those things. And was very upset to learn that I wasn't here, because I was one of the biggest reasons he came.
He didn't really tell me what he was specifically there for.
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
Oh, okay. Well, I wish he'd give
So
us a warning.
JVT will be looking good, and Kelley will be looking the same.
We briefly went through the AFC yesterday. We got into a whole sidebar conversation, just sort of a broad look at the AFC, and we got into a whole thing about only 3 quarterbacks. You throw Aaron Rodgers out because Aaron Rodgers is going to be 43 this year during the season, and he did it in the NFC. But beyond Aaron Rodgers, there's only 3 quarterbacks in the AFC that have gotten to a Super Bowl. Forget about winning it, gotten to a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Drake May. Aaron Rodgers being sort of the outlier. That's it. So the notion that, what I was trying to say was the notion that like a Bo Nix or a CJ Stroud, not trusting them in a playoff game, and I think I started by saying Texans defense, Broncos defense, most solid units of anything in the AFC. I think Drew just disagreed with that with the Ravens. But for me, those are the 2 most solid. The notion that somehow you can't trust them in the playoffs, well, they're in a conference where nobody's gotten there besides those 3 names anyway, Mahomes, May, or Burrow. So I don't know how far that goes in the AFC. The NFC is, by the way, Ravens the short shot to win the AFC at plus 470, Bills there at plus 510. The NFC, just sort of a brief, just the overview here on the NFC. I don't know, it's the Rams and it's the Seahawks and then it's everybody else. Do you agree with that topic sentence? Or do you think that that's too simplistic? Going into the season, are the Rams and Seahawks on a tier of their own? Let's phrase it that way. Meaning no Eagles, no Niners, you're good, but you're not quite that good.
Yes.
No Lions, no Packers, no anybody else. You're not quite that good.
Yeah. Yes, they're in a tier of their own.
I think the Lions probably deserve a little more credit.
That's where I'm sitting over here thinking because I think I should, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I should start this season the way we ended last season. Rams and Seahawks are the best teams in football, and that was the Super Bowl, and I think that's what we're talking about still heading into this year with the Rams making the additions that they did. I would say they're in a tier by themselves. I think you could make the argument there are a lot of teams in that next tier.
I would agree. We were just talking off air. Let's just tell people what we're talking about.
And I don't feel real quick like that next tier: Eagles, Packers, Lions, 49ers,
yes.
Bears, Cowboys. I
agree with all that.
Probably those teams, and I don't think any of those teams are that far behind. But I do think the Seahawks and Rams belong in their own tier at the top.
It makes it tough to sort of rank. We were just talking off air about teams that have been. This is anecdotal to agree, but This is doing this show 5 days a week and just taking in whatever information other people have, or not information, but opinions other people have. What are the teams that have been, to use the Gen Z term, what are the teams that have been the most glazed this offseason, right? That even sounded corny coming out of my mouth. Rams, Texans, Bengals, Broncos.
Well, we were doing the AFC.
Yes, but I'll throw the Rams in there as well. My point is that I think the team that has been the most underrated this offseason, Drew would just say it was the Ravens. I'm saying it's the Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
No, I think you can make a strong argument for that.
I don't really get how they're sort of I mean, I do because it's Myles Garrett, maybe it's Aaron Donald, right? I get it. But are we just kind of then sleeping on the defending Super Bowl champions? I feel like we are.
There's 2 other teams I'll throw out. So, okay, the buzziest teams in the NFC, and you're completely right. I absolutely. They've been very little talked about the Seattle Seahawks and expectations, at least from bettors, from what I've heard over the past couple months. But, it's tougher with the short shots too, right? I understand that. Tougher with the favorites. Eagles, Packers for being 3-4 on the board. I think I'm still waiting for someone to step up and say they're backing them to go win the NFC. Yeah, have you heard much Eagles or Packers love this offseason?
No, you're right. Again, I'll say about the Packers.
Because the Lions' schedule's been brought up. 49ers have been a somewhat buzzy team, but okay, the injuries are piling up for them. The Bears, of course, as they should be, in my opinion.
Packers, though, again, on the point I made about them, they've been to the playoffs 3 years in a row. But if there were no 7 teams and it was just 6 teams in the playoffs, they would have gone to the playoffs at none of those times.
Mm-hmm.
So they squeak into the playoffs every year. The Eagles, man, I want to hate Nick Sirianni and I want to hate on the Eagles, but the record over his 5 years
he's great.
Speaks for itself. So you can never count them out. And their defense, by the way, I shouldn't sleep on their defense.
Awesome,
they're top tier as well. Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal. Offense, we'll see. Mark Borchard next, baseball.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gill, Kelley,
Yo.
in the hizzy. Oh, now my battery pack wants to go out. Bobby Getty's on Twitter. If Gill can do the show from Cali, I don't see why Danny can't do it from Montana. It's only a second full-time job. I wanted Danny to have a European football segment. Where am I supposed to get my Copenhagen Towers updates? Come on, producer 10.
Yeah.
Good point. It's a weak
All
effort
true.
from Danny.
Maybe he can text in updates.
Can't do the show from Montana. Jack Olaquire. Gill and Kelley, it's that time of year when I listen to Kenny Chesney's song, The Boys of Fall, and the video with Sean Payton talking to high school players at his old high school in Naperville, Illinois. Takes me back to my high school coaching days. Miss those days. Wow, Jack is pouring his soul out on Twitter.
I haven't seen an Olaquire in
a long time.
at least 6 months.
You know, I think the Olaquires might just be football people.
They might just be football people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Tom F, T for 3, dropping Public Enemy casually on a Tuesday morning, Gill. Just saw them open for Guns N' Roses of all bands. Chuck still got that vice. Did they really? And then Stanford, wrong. Quote, thought I was a donut. You tried to glaze me. Who's that from, by the way? Sorry, music. Sorry about the music, everybody.
Man, that segment went by quick.
That was quick. You remember that talk we had with Mark Borchard? Man, he was phenomenal.
We might have read tweets too long this time, Gil, officially.
Mark Borchard joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. He is still in Montana. Speaking of Montana, he hasn't been back in the desert in over a month, I think it is now.
He's helping Danny move in, I heard.
Said he saw a bear or two yesterday on his UTV. Mark Borchard, BaseWinner, joining us now on the line. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing tremendous. I'm having a great time. Saw a couple bears over the last 2 days. Went UTVing in the Stillwater Forest. It's been incredible. And from a betting standpoint, sports betting standpoint, August has been a really good month for me, particularly the last week. You know, I always feel bad when I miss out on a win streak. I think that there was a couple teams. I think the Brewers earlier had really good wins. Of course, the Red Sox had good win streaks. I missed out on all of those. But Philly, I think I was on Philly pretty much every game of that win streak that they had, including the one where they came back from 4 runs down in the 9th. And I mean, as a bettor, that's such a good feeling. It's just because you almost have that money like it's thrown away. I lost that one, and then they come back and it makes you feel good. But between the results and then the progress that I'm making with the monthly simulation, Monte Carlos, I'm just enjoying life right now. And of course, Philly was my pick earlier with those monthly simulations, and they're still for me the pick to make right now with a little bit of value showing up. And I've been doing the divisions too, so a lot of stuff. Gil, sorry,
it's great.
I'm high on life, I guess.
This is what we live for. Your August was my July, man. It's just you can't. It's just. You don't want it to end ever. Tennis and baseball for me in July. What was your number on the Phillies before this month started?
It was 11-1.
Nice.
So
1 win lead
really
over
good.
the Padres right now.
And what's interesting, I wrote about this I think maybe on Thursday or Friday. The Philly actually, there was a segment there where they kind of went down before that win streak. So it kind of traces, and what I'm building, and this will be ready for next year, I think, is the odds all month on each day, what the odds are, what my projections say. And it's turning into a really cool application. And so, getting it published and stuff is a little bit difficult, but like for me, I'm able to use it and write about it and stuff. So it's really cool. And it couldn't have played out any better to date, but there's still a lot of baseball left here. Not this month, but not only this month, but in September as well.
6 games left for your Phillies in this month of August. 1 win lead over the Padres, 2 win lead over the Red Sox, Cubs, and Rays. And you said there's value. If people wanted to jump in now, you still think there's value on the Phillies' current price?
Yeah, I have them. They're at DK plus 100. I have them at minus 231.
Jeez.
One of the things I do the monthly division winners, and this one's kind of an interesting one. We've talked about the AL West, and like nobody wants to win it. Nobody wants to win the month either, Gil. Texas is 11-11. Houston's 9-11. But what's interesting is Texas is minus 165 to win that division this month, and DK has Houston at plus 1,300, and I don't think it should be that. I think Texas should be minus 114, and Houston should be plus 415. There's a really good value with Houston. I think Houston's looking pretty good, not only in that division from a monthly standpoint, but in that division from the winning that division standpoint. And it was perplexing to me when they fired their GM the other day. My ratings have Houston the best hitting team in baseball. And I don't think that he got enough credit for that, but who knows what happens internally with those organizations.
Who knows?
That's really, and of course, that's a hard thing to model too, because does it create inner turmoil within the team? But from a number standpoint, they're showing value in both spots, Gill.
Yeah, Dana Brown was the GM who was fired yesterday. Mutual parting, as they phrased it. But he's the guy, right? Like the trade deadline, he's one of these dogmatic, we're always going for it, we're never going to capitulate at the trade deadline. He's one of those guys. And I wonder if philosophically, here we are now, this few weeks past the trade deadline, the Rangers 66 and 66, the Astros 65 and 66. I get it, they were tied yesterday, I believe. When it happened, maybe just internally they're like, you know what, this ain't working, buddy. And maybe we should have gone a different direction. But in the end, the Astros very live for the playoffs because of the anemic nature of that division, and really the anemic nature of the league in general in terms of a wild card also wouldn't be out of that picture. Okay, to your plays today, what did you end up with?
Well, this one's an interesting one, and I've been kind of following this team offensively. St. Louis, for me, was a team that I had very low expectations on at the start of the year, but they've really kind of put themselves, although they're probably not going to make it, they actually put themselves into the discussion. But today they face my 151st pitcher. I've got 156 pitchers in there, and Chris Bassett, all of the sabermetric numbers on him are poor. And so I think that what you can do is you can play the first five here, St. Louis team total over 2.5. And when I bet it, it was at plus 105. So I think that that's a pretty good play. The team that I've got 15th in baseball, decent offense against a pitcher that's really bottom tier, Gill.
Any base winner parlay of the day to make Steve Fezzik's head explode off his body?
Absolutely. I've got two that I'll give out, actually. I've got the Dodgers in Cleveland. And then this one kind of went down overnight. I got it at plus 194. But if you risk one, you're going to win 1.77. So it's a plus 177. And I talked a little bit about Gavin Williams. Hasn't quite played out the way I wanted to about being a dark horse for the Cy Young. But if you look at those strikeouts, he's only 8 back off of Dylan Cease in the leader of strikeouts in MLB. And he's facing a team in the Angels. Angels' worst BBK, a number that I like, walks divided by strikeouts. They've got the lowest in the league against the second highest pitcher from a strikeout standpoint in baseball. So I think Cleveland minus 132 is good. And then this Dodger team, Gill, gosh, they're talking about Ohtani coming back to pitch, but you forget about Glass now. Mm-hmm. And every time you look at the best starting pitching in baseball, today I think that they should be favored by almost minus 200, and they're at minus 149, minus 150-ish. One of the things I like about this game, too, is Freddie Freeman over his total bases. I don't think I've given any of these total bases out on the show, but I might as well today because I'm in such a good mood. Over 1.5 total bases, Freddie Freeman, plus 117. And you look at his OPS. He played a lot of game at Truist, and the OPS is I think it was like 844. So I'll take that. I'll take that going into this game. And so that's the parlay. And then I've been experimenting with these first 5 over 4s, and I've got a parlay I got Kansas City, Toronto over 4 first 5, Chicago, Arizona over 4 first 5, and all the numbers really kind of back that up. The sabermetric numbers that I use, Gill. Yeah.
Wow, Kelley, you got all that? That's all.
No, but Danny does.
Danny's got them.
Ask me that question next week.
Let's just first 5 St. Louis team total over 2.5 plus 105. Pirates money line plus 109. Cleveland Dodgers parlay plus 177, and then some bonus bets right there at the end, which we'll have to get on.
I forgot to talk. I even forgot to talk about Pittsburgh, but Skeeves. I was looking at his numbers, and he's down a little bit, but he's still pretty elite. He's I think that's what I have at my top 20 still, number 17. And then one of the things that's interesting about this game is the Pittsburgh bullpen, and this looks at strikeout percentage, walk rate, ground ball percentage over, I think, a curated time frame that I think is I don't want to say perfect, but it's ideal. And they're number 3 in baseball, going up against the number 1 bullpen, admittedly, in the Padres. But I think getting a little bit of plus money on that's a good idea.
Mark, you're the best. Enjoy the outdoors in Montana. The desert will be there when you get back.
Absolutely, Gill. It's going to be a 2-day drive back home on Sunday, so I'm not looking forward to that. But I'll be back next week.
That's right. He has dogs, so they drive all the way.
Enjoy
Thank
the
you,
weather,
Mark.
though.
At BaseWinner, by the way, BaseWinner.com. Who will be the first NFL coach fired? Kelley and I try to profit off someone else's misery next.